Now, I'm not one to normally blame referees, but we were robbed of 3 big away points. So if you saw that intro and you're thinking, get over it Tom, it wasn't offside, I'm not talking about the offside incident. I agree with the referee's call on that one, and I'll explain all of that later, and I'll explain why I think we were actually robbed, because of the lead up to their second equalising goal. There was 2 fouls that were given that were never ever fouls, but I'll get onto them later in the video. But anyway, welcome back new and returning viewers to, I can't even remember what episode it is, but Talking Timbers yet again, and it's a match recap video of the game that happened last night, as in, it was a Saturday night, against the Houston Dynamo away from home. So as I'm sure you know, the Timbers left Houston last night with only 1 point when it easily could have been 3. Twice in the game we took the lead, and twice Houston come back to end the game as 2-2. Is it 2 points dropped? Yes, I think it is. Putting the points straight out there, I think it is 2 points dropped. Before the game I said that yes, I'd take a point against a Houston side that haven't lost at home in 2017. But when you go ahead in the game twice and you give the goals away and it ends 2-2, it just feels like the 2 points dropped. And the draw is a good point away from home, but it's not the 3 that we really need at this point of the season going into the final push for the playoffs. So we'll start the recap by looking at the Timbers team that Cleb Porter set out in Houston last night. So comparing this lineup to the lineup that I said that I wanted to see, it's pretty much the same apart from Darlington Nagbe coming in for Espria. Now, Espria was injured and he wasn't even in the 18-man squad, so not really too sure there. I think he got a sprained ankle from the Vancouver game, so obviously they don't want to rush him back or anything with his good form recently. So yeah, obviously I think being precautious with Espria. And he said that Nagbe felt fresh after the US Gold Cup win, so he put him in right mid. Now Nagbe had a fantastic game, especially in the first half. Every time he got the ball, he looked so dangerous. He'd pick it up, get his head up, and he would run at the Houston defence, and it was causing all sorts of problems. I mean, Beasley down the left-hand side at the left-back position for Houston did not know how to cope with Nagbe and Valentine. I mean, we really were going for Beasley and attacking him, and it really was working. That's where our first goal came from. So yeah, well done Nagbe. He came into the Timbers squad with so much confidence. I think that US win has done him the world of good, and I hope he can continue this form going into the push for the playoffs. Another noticeable player in the squad was Vitas on the bench. Now, he has been injured recently, so I don't think he was actually there to be fit to play. I think he was just filling up the 18-man squad. And, I called during the game, why isn't he coming on for Miller in the left-back position? Because Miller was getting attacked quite a lot, and a lot of play from Houston was coming down that right-hand side against Miller. And I think Vitas is way better than him in the left-back position. He's way more quick. I think his pace is just the one thing he has over Miller, definitely. And he reads the game fantastically as well with Vitas. And yeah, he always puts in 110%, so disappointing to see him not come on, but you don't want to risk him for then missing more games. So if he wasn't 100% fit to play, then fair enough, but if he was, I'm kind of disappointed that he didn't come on. So where does this leave us in terms of the MLS Western Conference? So taking a look at it here, we are still in 4th position, now on 31 points alongside the Seattle Sounders. Now, if we won this game, we would have leapfrogged past Dynamo and went into 3rd position, but we didn't. We're still behind them, and we've still played one more game than them and Seattle, and we've played, 3 more games than Vancouver. And Vancouver, by the way, put in a dominant performance away, I think it was, to FC Dallas, beating them 4-0. And you can see there, Dallas in 2nd place in the conference. So big signals coming out by Vancouver, who we beat last week. And, with a performance like that against Houston, where we feel like we should have won, against a team that haven't lost at home all season, we're looking good. We are looking strong. I think we've got to stay positive as fans, as players, as everything to do with the club. I think things are going to really go our way. And hopefully, as we go into the final push for the MLS playoffs, and hopefully into the MLS playoffs, we're going to find a good run of form like we did in 2015. And who knows what can happen. But I think there are some very strong teams in this Western Conference, and it will be interesting to see in these final weeks who will make the playoffs. So moving on to the game's key moments and goals. So the Timbers took the lead in the 13th minute after some great build-up play by Nagbe and Valentine on the right-hand side, which I mentioned earlier. They linked up so well all game. And yeah, Nagbe played it to Valentine. He put a fantastic pass, well-drilled one, right to Valeri's feet. Outsmarted the defender, took a beautiful touch inside the box. Space opened up, and he finished fantastically in off the crossbar. I thought he was going to try and place it, but he went for power. And yeah, fantastic finish from Valeri. You're giving him an open shot, and he's most likely going to punish you. So 1-0 Timbers, great start to the game. 20 minutes later, however, Houston equalised, and with this goal, I've got a couple of guys to moan at in the defence. So Wenger had the ball about 20 yards out on the right-hand side, and he was attacking Miller, and Miller goes in to win the tackle. But in that position, just stand him up. If you risk going in, you risk giving a foul away, or he's just going to skin you. And he made a tackle with the ball, but it rebounded, fortunately for Wenger, and he went down the line. And, this is where Miller as well, he's not fast enough to catch up with Wenger, so he couldn't put then a tackle in. He didn't really try and slide in or anything. But initially, he just don't need to make that tackle. Just, get side on, show him down the line, or show him inside to more defenders like Chara and Guzman, but don't make the tackle. There's no need to win the ball there. I just thought it was silly. And then Wenger goes by him, puts in a deep cross, and then that's when the mistake from Gleeson happened. So the ball's going over the top of Gleeson, and he kind of just misreads it. He goes out to not even punch it, but kind of palm it away. It was quite poor. I don't think he moved his feet enough to then be able to extend his arm to punch it, so he kind of had to just slap underneath it, and he slapped it only in front of the 6-yard box. Fell to, I think it was Manotas or something like that, and then he finished well under Gleeson. But I think at this play, when you look back at it, Mabiala was right behind Gleeson, and he would have been there for the header. I mean, yes, Torres was behind Mabiala, but I think Lloris would have made the header anyway. He was in front of Cubo Torres or Eric Torres, so he would have been able to clear it, or at least head it over the bar. That comes from a bit maybe miscommunication between the two, so Mabiala's got to call it. Maybe he did, we don't really know, we can't tell. But Gleeson went on a bit of a mad one, and he made the mistake. Now, last night I actually ran a Twitter poll, saying what we should do with Gleeson. Should we look to get a replacement ASAP? Should we keep him as a number one? Or should we make the decision at the end of the season? And I think out of 31 votes, I think make the decision at the end of the season won, I think about 71%. So that was interesting to see what you guys thought. I think someone tweeted it and it perfectly summed up. It was like, Gleeson, he can make them really good saves, and then crucial, he's a great shot stopper and reaction saver. But then when it comes to things when you actually really have to think about it and decision-making things, that's where his game falls short, and this goal kind of sums it up. He didn't really need to come for the ball, maybe. I think if you're going to come for it, you need to know that you're going to get a solid fist that ball and you're going to be able to punch it away, at least to the edge of the 18-yard box, not flap at it and get it into the 6-yard box. Just want to say I agree with the Twitter poll. I don't think making a decision now, dropping him or anything, would do anything good for him. It would just lose his confidence and things like that. But at the end of the season, going forward, I think we do need to bring in a new keeper. Try and get an MLS experienced one, but they are fairly hard to come by. But a keeper is the foundation of every team. And every team that wins cups and wins trophies, they have a fantastic keeper. In the MLS, you can look at Romando with RSL. He's dominated with them. The Timbers, however, regained the lead just before half-time in the 43rd minute, thanks to a beautiful move that ended up with Blanco slotting it home yet again. So it was actually Blanco that started the move. He played a wonderful pass to Valeri, who managed to roll the Houston defender, and another fantastic first touch led him into space, and he got to the byline, saw the run of Blanco, cut it back, and then Blanco finished well. Now, in the build-up to that goal, you see Addy. He was dragging away the defender of Houston, and some would say maybe he was a foul. I don't think it really was. In my opinion, it definitely wasn't a foul. It would have been an unbelievably soft one, and everyone would have lost the plot if it was given. If you watch it in the replay, the defender he gets a little bit of a nudge from Addy, but he's going to do that. And then the defender kind of just clips the heel of Addy and then goes flying over. Pretty good dive, but I think he knew that the ball was going straight back to Blanco for a free shot on target, so he was just trying to play for a foul anyway. Thankfully, it wasn't given, and the Timbers took the lead into the half-time, 2-1. I should add, however, in the 46th minute, a couple of minutes after the Timbers goal, Gleeson pulled out an unbelievable save. And this was kind of exactly what I was saying earlier, how he's amazing at doing reaction saves and shot stopping. Wenger played a ball inside to Manotas yet again, and he shot it on the first time, and it was going high into the goal, into the top corner, but Gleeson managed to tip it onto the crossbar, it bounced down, and the Timbers cleared it. Proves that Gleeson really can make some fantastic just reaction saves. And it was a brilliant save, and I think it kind of makes up for that mistake, because he definitely saved the goal there, 100%. So well done Gleeson for that one, top guy. But at the end of the day, that is his job, to save the goals and try not to make mistakes. But it's hard for a keeper, because you're the last man of defence. If you make a mistake, the other team is likely to score. So anyway, good save Gleeson. Moving on to the second half, and there was a very big incident in the 54th minute that caused a lot of aggro on Twitter, even from the Portland Timbers Twitter page. It was the disallowed Addy goal. So when the ball's played over the top, he leaves it for Chara, who was not offside. And a couple of guys were kind of confused by this. Chara then basically, the keeper come out, he played it over the keeper. Chara then is there with the defender, and he plays it to Addy. Now, the ball was played to Addy. Addy was behind the ball, so he's not offside. If he was in front of the ball and it was played, then he was definitely offside for that reason, so he wasn't offside, and that's why everyone was confused. But if you look at the original ball over the top to Chara, Adi interferes with play. And this rule by FIFA was introduced last year, which means that anyone in the attacking half or in the attacking play interferes with the ball whilst they're standing in offside position is classed as offside. And Adi does exactly that. I think it was a good call from the referees looking back at it. I'm not going to get salty over it. You see that Adi clearly disrupts the run of the defender. I can't remember who it was, but as Chara's running through, he leans into the defender, and as soon as he makes that play, then, you know, Adi is involved with it. It definitely was, you know, an offside call that should have been made and was poor from the officials because they didn't spot it immediately. The referee had a good position. Chara wasn't offside, but you see Adi, who was standing offside, interfered with the play, and that's it really. What really annoyed me about this play was the amount of confusion. You know, I think VAR being introduced in a couple of weeks in the MLS is going to sort this, because we're all going to be able to see, the referee's going to be able to see what's going on for a second time, and he's going to be able to clarify the calls. But what about adding a microphone to the referee and then playing it over the TV or into the stadium? Now, they do it in rugby here in Europe and across the world. I know rugby's not too big in America, but here when you watch it, if the referee wants to make a decision, you can hear what he's saying. You can hear him all the time, basically, because the players treat the referees with such respect. They say sir, madam, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, they treat him with good respect, whereas in football it's complete opposite. They're very ill-disciplined, the players. They always swear at the referees, shouting at the referees. If you had that in rugby, you just get sent off or you get put in the sin bin. So I think it could be added into football, but it won't be. But yeah, I think it would help clarify the decisions the referee's making. So skip forward 20 odd minutes and you get to the 78th minute. And this is where I'm going to try not to lose my cool. I was so fuming at this decision in particular. So Guzman basically scissor kicks it over the top to Ebabisse, who'd just come on a couple of minutes ago for Adi. Kind of what I called in the match preview, you know, changing the tactics, just play forward to Ebabisse, try and get the defence spinning. That's exactly what they did. And Ebabisse was running down on goal. Not on goal really, he was running side by side with the defender. And Ebabisse merely touches the defender. Honestly, it wasn't even a shove, it wasn't an Adi blatant push. It was Ebabisse put his arm on him and the defender's gone over. The defender knew he was... So he's literally just fallen over. He has fallen over, making it look like Ebabisse has pushed him. Never ever was that a foul, and if it was, it's the softest thing I've ever seen, and I was going mental over that. And I was thinking in my head, if they go down the other end and score, I am going to be fuming, and that is exactly what they did. There was still, however, one more dodgy decision in between that foul on Ebabisse and then going back to their goal, which was in the 80th minute. I think it's a player was running past Chara, and then Chara dives in to win the ball. And I think Chara does get a touch of the ball, but I'm going to say, why are you diving in, Chara? You've just been booked about 10 minutes ago, and you're diving in from behind, maybe lucky to not see a second yellow card and a possible sending off. But even if he did get the ball and whatnot, the referee was behind Chara and it would have been quite hard to see if he got the ball. Even the camera angles were quite difficult to tell. So it's going to be a tough one for the referee. He gave off what he could see. Yes, he could use the linesman for a bit of help, but it was given at the end of the day, and then the Timbers need to defend the free kick. But I just think, Chara, don't dive in and give the referee the chance to make that decision. So the ball was put into the box, a fantastic free kick. The Timbers line was pretty high, but then Kavasas, I think it was, or Kavasas, outleaked Valentin, got in front of him, and then headed it into the ground and then up into the top corner. It was a fantastic header. It really was a brilliant one. I said it in last week's match recap that those ones where you head them down and then into the ground and then up, they really are difficult for the goalkeepers to kind of measure where they're going to go, and it just went past Gleeson. It really was a good header. And yeah, you could possibly blame Valentin. He lost his man. Yes, I think that's where his game is kind of at his weakest. He's not the biggest of guys. He's not the strongest, and he's 5'11", and Alvarez Powell is 6 foot. I know it's only an inch or so difference, but it could make a heck of a difference. But I thought Valentin, other than that, had a fantastic game. Contested for man of the match alongside Valeri and Nagby and quite a few other players, really. But it was the only real mistake that Valentin had in the whole game. He let his man go, and it was a fantastic header. But anyway, I'm still so annoyed at that Ebabisse foul. I couldn't get over it. I thought everyone was moaning at the Chara kind of foul, but I was moaning at that. I think that was absolutely ridiculous, because if you look at the play, Ebabisse was basically going to be on goal. The guy's laid flat out after not even a foul, not even a mere push, and then it's Ebabisse one-on-one, and he's got the pace, and quite frankly, from that, the power as well, to possibly go on and score. And yeah, it was just so annoying, and that's where I felt robbed. And I don't normally blame referees, but from that really... I'm just going to say I was so triggered, not going to lie, so triggered, and why I felt we were robbed. So I've kind of already given my opinions on the game. You know, I think it was 2 points dropped. and we dominated a lot of the game. You know, we were playing in that 100-degree Fahrenheit heat. Both teams, I think, were huffing and puffing. It was a tough one, and we dominated. We played fantastic football. We were slowly building up to a lot of our plays in the second half, and we just kept the ball very well. We retained it fantastically. Just taking a look at some of the stats here, you see we had basically 55% possession to their 45, and we had almost 100 more total passes than them. But then you look at the shots, we were even, 16 shots each, and Houston actually had more shots on target, and we had more shots off target, and they had more shots blocked. So on that stat and that front, you know, it was quite an even game. They did create some very good chances, which they could have converted, but they didn't. You know, you're not going to score every single chance, although it does seem like in recent Timbers games, we have been conceding every single chance we've given to the opponent. But yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say. I think on the base of play, we should have won it, and we deserved to win it. But then when you look at the stats and you look at the attempts that both teams had, I think a draw would be a fair result, but not a draw in the way that it was given. Biting my tongue. Referee, you've really annoyed me, but it's ruined the game. It really has, in my opinion. You know, if they go and score a good goal, then fair enough, it's 2-2. But it wasn't. I mean, both their goals were pretty crappy, really. When you look at them, we created fantastic goals. That first goal, beautiful cross into the box by Valentin, low-driven one, finished by Valeri. Second goal from us, beautiful play by Valeri and Blanco and everything like that. All the attacking players really linked up well. But their first goal, mistake by Gleeson, mistake by Miller. You know, not a nice goal. Their second goal, yeah, it was a great header. It was a good cross, but it's come from awful refereeing decisions. So I just felt it was a game that we should have won, and it was a sloppy draw on Houston's part, in my opinion. I'm trying to think if there was anything that I've missed. I don't think there is. I think I've got everything out. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. Sorry if it's felt a little bit rushed. I'm actually leaving in a couple of minutes to go for a family meal because it's my dad's birthday today, so happy 54th to him if he's watching, because I know he does watch these videos. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments below what you thought of the game. You know, was it 2 points dropped, as I said? You know, were you happy with the performance? Did you think the referee's performance was as bad as I've been saying it was? Let me know what you think, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But if you are new around here, be sure to hit subscribe so you're updated with every time I put more Timbers related content out. But next Saturday, the Timbers face the LA Galaxy at home. Going to be a difficult game because, you know, LA Galaxy just outside the playoffs a minute, trying to make a late push, and they are better away from home than they are at home. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the Timbers, but I will see you probably next Thursday or Friday with a match preview for that game. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you then.